This is the story of creation from Genesis chapters 1 and 2. Have you ever wondered how the world started? How it began? Or what was here before there was water and dirt and animals? All right, close your eyes really tightly, tighter. What do you see? Is it really dark? Can you imagine a time when there was nothing but darkness? It was darker than the dark when you close your eyes. That's pretty dark. In the beginning, God created the sky and the earth. At first, the earth was completely empty. There weren't any plants or animals. There weren't any people. There was nothing on earth. Darkness covered the ocean, and God's Spirit moved over the water. Then God said, "Let there be light." And the light began to shine just like that. God saw the light and He knew that it was good. He separated the light from the darkness. God named the light day and the darkness night. So on the very first day, God created the day and the night. Then on the second day, God said, "Let there be a space to separate the water into two parts." So God made the space and separated the water. Some of the water was above and some of the water below. God named that space sky. And there was evening and morning. That was the second day. Then, on the third day, God looked around and said, "Let the water under the sky be gathered together so that the dry land will appear." And it happened. God named the dry land earth, and He named the water that was gathered together the seas. And God saw that this was good. Then God wasn't finished yet on the third day. He said, "Let the earth grow grass, plants that make grain, and fruit trees. The fruit trees will make fruit with seeds in it, and each plant will make its own kind of seed. Let these plants grow on the earth." And it happened just like God said. The earth grew grass and plants that made grain, and it grew trees that made fruits with seeds in it. Every plant made its own kind of seeds, and God saw that it was good. There was evening and morning. This was the third day. On the fourth day, God said, "Let there be lights in the sky. These lights will separate the days from the nights. They'll be used for signs to show when special meetings begin and to show the days and the years. They will be in the sky to shine light on the earth." And it happened. So God made the two large lights. He made the larger light to rule during the day and the smaller light to rule during the night. He made the stars too. God put these lights in the sky to shine on earth. He put them in the sky to rule over the day and the night. They separated the light from the darkness. So God made the sun and moon and stars on the fourth day. God looked around and saw that it was good. There was evening and then there was morning. This was the fourth day. Now the fifth day is a lot of fun. God said, "Let the water be filled with many living things, and let there be birds to fly in the air over the earth." So God created the large sea animals. He created all the many living things in the sea and every kind of bird that flies in the air. On the fifth day, that's the day that God created the fish in the seas, the octopus, the whales, and the birds in the sky, like the doves and the ravens, the parakeets too. God looked around and saw that it was good. There was evening and morning, and that was the 5th day. On the 6th day, it gets even better. God said, "Let the earth produce many kinds of living things. Let there be many different kinds of animals. Let there be large animals and small crawling animals of every kind. Let all these animals produce more animals." And all this happened. So the lions and tigers and elephants and zebras, and the little field mice and the bunny rabbits, cats and dogs, they were all created on the 6th day. He made the wild animals, the tame animals, and all the small crawling things. And God saw that this was good. But God wasn't finished yet. On that same day, God looked around and said, "Now let's make humans who will be like us. They will rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the air. They will rule over all the large animals and all the little things that crawl on the earth." Here's where the story gets crazy. God took dust from the ground and made a man. He breathed the breath of life into the man's nose, and the man came alive. And God put him in this beautiful place, a place called the Garden of Eden. But God looked and thought and said, this isn't good for man to be alone. He needs a companion, a friend, one that's just right for him. So God brought all the animals to man, and man gave them all a name. He gave names to the wild animals, to the tame animals, to the birds in the air. He saw so many animals and birds, but he could not find a companion that was right for him. God caused the man to sleep very, very deeply. And while he was asleep, God took one of the ribs from the man's body. Then he closed the man's skin where the rib had been, and God used the rib from the man to make a woman. Then he brought the woman to the man, and the man said, "Finally, someone like me." She was taken from man, so I will call her woman. Wow, what an amazing story. God created the whole world in 6 days. He made the sun and the moon and the stars, the oceans and the rivers, the flowers and the grass and the trees, the clouds. He made the platypus and the giraffes, the elephants, the bears. He made everything. After 6 days of work, on the 7th day, God rested. Now it's time for you to get your rest. And next time, we'll see what else God tells us from His Word. Good night.